Can I actually switch the camera while I'm recording? Not entirely sure. Can I? Is that possible? Oh, no, I think it's not possible. What a shame. I wanted to take you guys a little bit and talk about why, first of all, here from autumn in Berlin, so the leaves and everything is getting colder and chillier. But I wanted to talk to you guys about why you actually need a perspective and mindset shift with tinnitus and not silence. And I've been thinking about this recently quite a lot. So in this video, I want to devote a little bit of time on why you need a shift in your perspective and not silence in order to habituate to tinnitus and to get better with tinnitus. Maybe let's start with that. So most of you know me as tinnitus coach Frieda, who was born deaf in his left ear, hearing aid, and severe high-pitched tinnitus in his right ear. And I must say, first thing before I start this video, talking about why you need a perspective shift instead of, silence for tinnitus, is because, I have had tinnitus for 16 years now, and I've worked with probably 700-800 people by now. And I've seen many more with tinnitus, and the one common thing that they all have is that they still have tinnitus, right? Even if they're habituated, they still have tinnitus, and but they're habituated and they could not be bothered less by the tinnitus, right? So it's very, very important that, you have a perspective shift if you don't want to sacrifice your quality of life until in maybe some distant future we will have some kind of approach or cure to tinnitus. I also want to say at the start of this video, I sometimes tend to be a little bit, let me check it's the microphone. Yeah, should be on. I tend to be, and I can get a little bit tired and burnt out from these scripted videos, right? To just make a script and film a video can get burnout kind of vibe. So I decided actually let me sit down from the top of my head, talk a little bit about why that perspective shift is so important, and maybe weave in a little bit of my personal story and my, years with tinnitus as a tinnitus coach. And I wanted to say that the most important aspect of the tinnitus journey is that it's a psychological aspect, right? So the tinnitus itself is a sound to which, if it is bothersome, you are reacting to. And the problem is then not the tinnitus, but the way the tinnitus makes you feel. And I think this is one of the most crucial points that gets missed when we kind of try all these traditional remedies, right? Like whether it's sound therapy or hearing aids or some other guru remedies or something, right? All of those miss that the real problem is your emotional reaction to the sound. Because there's a lot of sounds internally in your body, and tinnitus is often, somatic tinnitus or hearing loss-based tinnitus, but it's a normal part of life, and between 20 and 30% of the people experience it. I experienced it at a very young age because I was born deaf in one ear, and I've, racked up a hearing loss by not protecting myself enough. But I've learned through the years. At the start, of course, I was exactly the same, right? I was like, how do I get rid of this? What do I do in order to not have to perceive and experience this anymore? But it's only after, a long time living with tinnitus and working with so many people, I learned that the true and big problem with tinnitus is not the tinnitus sound itself. It's the way it makes us feel. And the way it makes us feel like we have no control, the way we feel like we're exposed to, all these feelings and negative thoughts and not being able to sleep at night, not being able to just sit down and read a book or something. Is of course terrible, right? And I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy, the insomnia and the bad days that come with it, right? I can totally and 100% relate to it, and because I've seen it in myself and so many people that I've worked with. But the core and most important problem is then not that we, try to get rid of the tinnitus with some of these techniques, but that these techniques don't work for the goal that we want, because we want the goal to not perceive tinnitus anymore through these avenues, and all of them fall short because none of them can eliminate tinnitus for you. So from the get-go, you set yourself an expectation that can't really be achieved, and then of course, it's no wonder that you are extremely disappointed, and therefore your attention on the tinnitus gets even more intense, right? So we're setting ourselves up for failure in treating tinnitus in these conventional ways. And why do I say at the start of this video that we need like a mindset or a perspective shift instead of silence? Well, because it's true. I've seen people with very, very mild tinnitus react very severely to their tinnitus. So, most of the time they have silence, but when they experience their tinnitus, they have a massive reaction. And then I've seen people with, super loud tinnitus, many different frequencies, changing a lot, have very mild or minor reactions to their tinnitus as a whole. And therefore, it is possible to retrain the brain's perception of our tinnitus, because it's possible to retrain the brain's perception of a threat, right? In the same way that when you get bitten by a dog, you can relearn that not all dogs are dangerous, and that yes, maybe it was a bad dog in that moment, but it's not always that all dogs will be dangerous and bite you. So the truth to tinnitus then really is a perspective shift in which we change the outcome expectation. And the outcome expectation is not to eliminate or no longer have tinnitus, but the outcome expectation is to learn to relate differently to our tinnitus, so our brain no longer perceives it as dangerous. And when that happens, the brain will automatically put tinnitus more and more into the background, which will lead to a perception of you as if it is silent, or at least as if it's no longer always there. And then you sort of tend to forget about it in the same way I always say, in the morning you have your coffee and the humming of the fridge, and then you don't perceive your tinnitus all the way either. So it's very, very important to not get hung up on the wrong expectation in terms of tinnitus management or what tinnitus should or shouldn't do, but to say, let's control what we can do about this. The most important thing then, right, when we have the opportunity to change our perspective or mindset and the outcome. So the outcome is, I will still have tinnitus, but I will not be bothered by it anymore, right? And yes, I know there's a lot of people who will say on this YouTube channel, screw you, man, you're just hocus pocus bogus stuff that you're trying to sell us is so expensive. And no, simply no. And if that's the way you think, then of course you're not here for the right reasons, and this is not the channel for you. So just be kind to people. And I put a lot of work in, and I burnt out last year, and I still put a lot of work in, and we just recently passed 1 million views. So some of you guys do enjoy the content that I produce here. So all I want to say with that is, if this is not your outcome that you are fine with, right, to have tinnitus, but no longer be bothered by it, then this is not your channel, and our 12 weeks program is not your program. But if you do, then you know that there's all these possibilities that we have in, for example, acceptance and commitment therapy, which is recommended by the German Ear, Nose and Throat Doctor Association as the primary and most viable and useful treatment for chronic tinnitus, chronic bothersome tinnitus, I should say. Because again, there's people who have chronic tinnitus, but who are not bothered by it because they're habituated. So if we want to make this shift, this perspective shift, right, then it certainly seems that acceptance and commitment therapy are among the most valuable elements, with mindfulness, self-compassion. I just lent the book to one of my best friends. But there's fantastic resources that we also teach in the 12-week program. But more importantly, that you know that there is help and there is an opportunity for you to feel like you can get out of this, right? You have the opportunity to get out of that tinnitus misery, and you can pull yourself out. You don't have to wait for someone else selling you something or for some stuff. I mean, yes, you have to put in some work and you have to be willing to learn and adapt, but then your brain is actually your friend, and it will actually help you to habituate. And this is actually, this is what I wanted to share with you guys today. And in fact, let me do one more thing. On the off chance that I'm again in a weird position here now, I wanted to, what is this? So I wanted to show you, of course, also that we have the online program here at www.mytinnitus.club. of course, the 12 weeks program. So if you look at my channel, you will see a couple of links under this video as well for the free 4-day courses, some habituation material for tinnitus and anxiety, for tinnitus and sleep and stuff like that. So if you did find this useful, then thank you for subscribing, leaving me a comment of what you thought, not only about this video, but about our videos in general. Thank you, of course, for all your support and your continued support. And yeah, I might make some more conversation style videos in the future, because I'm getting burned out by putting my notes up there and scripting videos. And yeah, it's just, yeah, it's a lot of editing work and it's very rigid, so I don't want to do it. So let me know in the comments what you think of it, and I'll see you in the next video. So thank you for that, and I'll see you in the next video. Check out mytinnitus.club or go to habituate.online and you can find all the resources there as well. Thank you and see you soon. Bye bye.